Give it up for these amazing, beautiful ladies. I assure you they are financially empowered women. And they are going to help us, especially our women, understand this better. Sasa, karibuni sana. We can have our sets. Karibuni sana sana. Yes. As I sit down, I'll request that they begin by introducing themselves. Isn't that right? Yes.
This is almost very intimidating, but my name is Felicia Muriuki. I see Jerry. Well done. I'm married to a husband called Robin Muriuki. Been married for 19 years, and I have 3 children. Washera, 17. Say hi. I have a daughter who's 15. And a son who's 7 years old, going 8. I'm in agribusiness, and I'm in agribusiness, and I think my reason for coming here today is, one reason is my friend Rose pulled me along. She's been teaching me about investing. And one of the things, at the beginning of this year, I spoke to God and said, I want 2 things from you: to teach me how to be audacious, just implement some of the things that I have been learning, and also to be prudent. Look at things, consider them, and begin to implement them, not just talk. So I wanted to go the next step in terms of financial investments, and not to be so scared and intimidated to do it. Thank you.
Amen. Give Felicia a welcome.
This is the 3rd time I'm here. And I like the gentleman said, I like the feeling of home. I'm a very homey person, so this seems to work very well. Maybe you should stay here. Okay, I think I will begin with the word from John 3, verse 2. I know most of us, we read John 1, we have read maybe John 2, but verse 2 in John chapter 3 is very special. It says, my dear brothers and sisters, I wish that you may prosper meaning in wealth, spiritually, and with health. So it talks about 3 people. 3 areas. And I think we all know that as a human being, you have the body, the soul, and the spirit. And it addresses exactly that. And that's why I'm really excited today. I'll still say my name, Rose Muniva Muyu. I'm not yet married, and I like that guy who, yes, says that. Very good. Yeah? He said, there's nothing wrong with a lady who has. Sinikweli. Because you will not eat love. Ama mtakula love. My grandmother told me, watu wakulangi nini? Love. Wanakula chakula. So for me, I think when she was telling us about education, I don't think I can begin talking without first saying a bit about my background. I accepted Christ when I was 6 years. I'm the lucky ones of those who used to raise their hands all the time. And I've seen the Lord really, I can say, throughout the years go with me. At age 11, I got baptized. I understood about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And by the way, recently in Hollywood, they made a movie about that touches actually the 3. It's called The Shack. I don't know who has seen the movie. Nobody, please. Only one. Please go and watch that movie. It is awesome. It addresses just what it means with Trinity, even as we are having the Lord's Supper today. So I understood that and I got baptized. At age 12, through my grandmother, of whom I'm going to talk about just in a while, I began tithing. I knew if somebody gave you 10 bob, you had to keep 10 bob aside. One bob aside, thank you. And then, and it is good if you begin early, because then what happens is, as you get more money, it won't be difficult. And I remember at age 17, the Lord made it clear to me, Rose, I want you to go to Bible college. And that's how I came. I was very lucky. So my first degree, I was sponsored, fully paid everything. And I used to get pocket money, 150 euros. That's about 15,000. And I would bring it back for my sisters. I would send it home. I think that's enough for introduction now. And then maybe I will say much more. But I want, for me, I think wealth is beautiful, but it has a reason. We must give. It's not about my stomach. It's about what I can do with it. I think we all get it wrong when we think, oh, wealthy, then you'll have this big car. It's good. I mean, it's not bad, but I think there's more to it. Yes.
Okay, so I'll go to our first question. And today the topic is how to grow your wealth. And so most of the questions we'll be discussing with our panelists today is how have they grown their wealth? As young girls, how did they begin? As older women, how have they continued to act on those principles of growing wealth? And so this is very relevant for all of us, not only just the women. But I want to ask Felicia, what was your first ever investment? Number one. And then there's 1A. How much was it? What was the amount of that first investment? And how long ago was that? And what is that investment worth today? So it's one question, but there are 4 in it. Please answer for us.
I think I'm one of those people who didn't really think of investments very early. And I got married not with my small kaka, and that I thought was my investment in terms of stuff. But these days we know a car is not really an investment unless it's making money for you.
Yeah.
But so I got married, and the first investment that we actually thought about and bought was a proti in Lukenya. It was about 12 years ago, and I tell you, it was a struggle. It cost about 6 months worth of what we were making monthly. So it was quite a stretch, and we took a leap of faith and we said, let's do it. And we put in about 800,000 at the time. It was a lot of money. We got a loan, and that's how we were able to finance it. Right now, it's appreciated quite a bit. It's about 7 million.
Wow.
It's a small, but
so like 10 times, almost 10 times its worth.
But I must say it was a difficult decision. We went back and forth. Can we afford it? We got children going to school. There's very many competing needs. But I think it was wise at the time to do that.
Okay.
And for many reasons, looking back, it was wisdom.
Yeah. So over 12 years, 800,000 has grown into 7 million.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked this question is because we've become a microwave. Lillian, you're far. Come and sit here. Nearer. Here.
Let me look at Eunice, so she's happy.
We've become a microwave culture. You know, you want to put in 1 shilling today, and tomorrow you want it to be 1,000 shillings. And talking about growing your money, it needs patience, you know, and you need to put in money and be willing to wait for time to cause it to grow. And that's why I asked that question. And I'll throw it again to Rose. That very first car investment, how many years ago it was, and what it is worth now. Yeah.
Well, I keep saying I can't talk about investment without talking about my grandmother. I remember when I was 12, my dad had this accident. He was in Zambia. And of course, he was airlifted, brought to Nairobi Hospital. Things happened. He got a lot of money. But then you know how it is with relatives. Then we bought a matatu. From there, I can't tell you what happened. He began drinking. And it was when I needed school fees that he could not pay for us. And I had to live with my grandmother in a place called Korogosho. I know most of you have never even been there. If anybody has been to Korogosho, they can raise their hands. Now I feel at home. Okay. And I remember us living with my grandmother. She had all these houses, very many houses. And when I say houses, I mean matope houses. And every month, and sometimes in the middle of the month, somebody would always knock at her door. They would say, Soshoamo Sembi, Uko. And then she would say, yes. And they would always bring money. Whether it was 50 bob, or 70, or 100, the fact remains as teenagers. I had my 6 cousins, boys, and 4 of us, my sisters, we were 10, living with her. And I kid you not, we not a night we spent, we can say without eating, we had food. And she was so generous. She had breakfast, uji ya saa 4, lunch, dinner, saa 10 kulikuwa na chai, usiku there was food. And this is something I tell you for teenagers that was very exciting. So, but I only saw one thing. She always had her money in a leso, you know. I mean, she never took her money to the bank. But one thing she understood was, when I did my master's, in this I had this word, you have a lot of things, small ones, but then it becomes what? A kilometer what?
Haba na hujaza
kibaba. So she had all these many houses, like 20. But that really gave her a lot of cash. And to me, I learned by seeing. By the time I was going to university, when they were using all these big terms, I thought, oh, my grandmother already knew that. She was already doing that, you know? And for me, I can say my first house ever to buy, I was 18. And it was in Korogosho. I bought it for my mom and my 3 sisters. That's when I got sponsored to go to Bible college in Germany. And I was there 4 years and 9 months because I had to learn German fast. And I used to get 150 shillings, which I would always send home. But immediately I came home, I bought my first plot at shillings 38, and I used to take 2,000, 1,000,
38,000.
Sorry. Yes, and it's in a place called Kamulu. And I would always take, as you know, 1,500. That was the least I ever took. And I would get receipts. And after I finished, I got a title deed. Today, when I was selling it, I mean, some time ago, it was actually last year, I sold it for $1 million. And for the first time this year,
from 38,000.
38,000. And for the first time this year, from my own niece, because they kept telling me, Auntie Rosie, your phones, they're always hanging. I had a Note 2, and I was thinking, I'm so posh. They tell me, no, this phone is always hanging. For the first time, I bought myself an iPhone.
Wow.
Yeah, not because I wanted to look posh, but because it won't hang.
But I have a question just to take you back.
Yes.
You said you bought your first house at 18?
Yes.
For mom and your sisters in Korogosho.
It's in Korogosho. It's still there. My cousin's son lives in it.
Lives there.
It's there.
Where did you get, at 18,
Okay,
where did you get the money to buy
after I finished
a house?
school, I was in a very good school. After I finished school, I went to, I began selling coats.
Jackets.
And this for me was very interesting because my uncle was getting them from Bulgaria. And he had that in town, just next to Jubilee House, he had a shop there somewhere. You know, they always have one room. So he would tell us, anybody who wants to come and make extra money, come take my coats and sell. Somehow, I managed to sell some of the coats, and I managed to buy that house. I only bought it for 3,000, so it was a lot of money for me then. But then I would give them to the landlady until she changed the name to my mom. So that was the first one. But to come a bit back forward, after I bought this other plot of 38, I also was able, now I started, I got a job, I came back to Kenya, I got a job at the German school, I worked for 1 year, I was doing more devotion with the kids because I had done theology and Bible study at night, going with them shopping, basically a mentor person, but I was paid well to my liking, or I thought I was doing very well, but I got the money again and bought 5 acres for my grandmother and my mom. And that's where in Kamulu now, and I built for her now a good house.
So she moved from Korogosho.
She moved from Korogosho.
That's awesome.
And that was the best day because all our things were carried with a pickup. I mean, that shows you how we were. I mean, for me, I when I look back at everything, I see it is God doing. I mean, it had nothing to do with me. And again, you read Deuteronomy 18 verse 8. It says, it's God who gives us what? Power to make wealth. Again, we need to really come back to God and say, God, thank you that you enabled me to see what my grandmother was saying. I could have also changed and said I want to maybe to make my hair or to do other things.
To buy clothes.
But I was a firstborn, so I had the sense of responsibility. I mean, I couldn't wait to see my sisters not going to school. So all my pocket money, like I said before, I would send it home. I didn't need it. I had everything I needed. Yeah? So I want again to say, for me, why do we need to get wealthy? So we can give. The issue here is not that you get a lot so you can hoard. And I will also say this and say Job 29. Job 29, as you all know, Job was the Bill Gates of then, Cindy. But they are listed in Job 29. There are like 9 areas of giving. He was the feet to the feetless. He was the joy to the widows. To the orphans, fatherless, he was a father. And father doesn't mean you just become a father. You're a provider. Like I was hearing the men say they want to be the provider. And in all these areas, even to the foreigner, he gave. So for me, I'm thinking, looking back, why it was important for me to even to think in terms of wealth, and why even ladies, single ladies, or even married need to make wealth, is because there are so many areas of giving, and we don't give, you know? And I think that for me is where you can say the rubber meets the road. Why I think I need to have more. I don't ever need to buy a phone from my salary. That's my seed. I need to do something with it so that I can buy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Listening both to Felicia and Rose, when they talked about their first ever investment, she talked about 800,000 that brought in millions after. And you talked about buying land for 38,000. And I know there are many of us who are single and young, and you're beginning to think you were born in good days.
Yeah.
Life right now is expensive. And I want to ask, what is your most recent, the one we can identify with, investment that you've made?
Okay.
And how much is it worth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Felicia? Yeah.
I think I'll tell you what it is. But first, it came from a place of need. A relative of mine was very challenged with a loan, and it's one of those things that you stay up at night worrying. So we thought, in life, you don't hold on to things, stuff, so much. We get very sentimental about property, we get sentimental about cars, and sometimes they're more useful when it's liquid, because one of the challenges we've had is you have a lot of stuff, but you're not liquid. So you cannot meet your daily needs. By the time mid-month is getting, you're already stressed. When school fees is coming, you're looking for loans, you're looking Sako, Chama, you're running around. And so one of the things we decided to do, my husband and I, is to sell a property and just pay off a loan, because one of the things is not to take debt. This was not debt that we chose to take ourselves, but it was a very close relative, and so what was happening to her was bothering us, affecting her health. And funny enough, as we talk about how the importance of money and how do you perceive money, is it something that should work for you, or is it something that you keep in your bank and that you work for? And we do a lot of that. So in coming to release this money, we decided one of the things we're going to do is look for something that will help get monthly income, passive income as we call it. So I invested in a bond that gives me 3% per month. And this is money that we can, so I was able to sell the property, settle the debt, and then have 1 million to that, then put in a bond that is able to give me about 30%. 30,000 a month. After withholding tax and all this, it comes to 25%. But this is something I learned from my own chama. It's not, we did a lot of due diligence, and it was working for them. And I thought, hey, why can't I also do that individually? So that's what we did with that fund.
Yeah. Wahu, you had a question. I've had her mention chamas, and you had a question you wanted to ask, because many ladies are involved in chamas. So I'll give you a chance to do that.
Yes, for the ladies involved in chamas, my question is, what would you say to them?
I think for me, I have 2 chamas. I limited them to 2. And they're very different personalities, the 2. One tends to invest in lower income things and in land in the lower income areas. So you see the appreciation very quickly.
Yeah.
The other chama, we've invested in a flat and things like that. It has taken long, but yes, you get money, but it's funny enough. I think it's better to invest in the low income and you get a lot than the one flat. When you don't have a tenant,
you lose
then you
a
lose
lot
a lot.
money.
Instead of this one where you still get something and you still move along. But they're different. You're able, I think for me, it taught me a lot of discipline on saving. So you just put a standing order and it goes. Because these issues of paying fines and things, you can do without. So put standing orders and be able to know when do I need to have money at this time so that it goes. When do I need money for school fees? Can I borrow from my chama? So you're able to have more leeway and able to make decisions a little bit better. So chamas are good. I think for women, we tend to learn a lot horizontally. Sometimes we don't look at other things. So with this chama, I learned how to have a strategic plan for even my business. So coming back even to the family, it's like, where do we want to be in 5 years? What do we need to do now so that when our daughter is going to university next year, we actually can release something to be able to pay for that? How, do I have education insurance? Is it actually enough? Is it working hard enough for me? Or do I need it to be somewhere else which works faster? Or because I'm the risk taker in our family. My husband always has to hold me. It's like, have you done the due diligence? Have you done this? So it's important to also consider some of those things. But for me, chamas have worked because it has stretched me. It has also made me look at other opportunities that by myself, I would not take the risk. But because there are people with different risk appetites, we're able to stretch ourselves a little bit more than if I was by myself.
Okay. Rose, are you in a chama?
Oh, yes, I'm in a chama. Actually, let me say, how many am I in? Maybe 3. Okay, one, of course, we are 6 of us. That's the one we are doing the low costing.
The low income.
Investment, yeah. Because again, let me just say this. Learning from my grandmother Eva, those houses that are many, accumulative what? It's the best because you get little here and you have a lot at the end of the month. So for me, that is working. We have been doing that now for many years. And I think we can say we are really thankful because everybody brings in and then you don't do it alone. The Bible again says, when you are alone, you will kill 1,000. But when you're 2, you kill 10,000. This logic I don't understand, but I love the Bible because it's really real. And I think even non-Christians have learned this and they run with it. Yeah, I think I will give an example that I had recently of an Indian guy who said, I have 300 million gods. And I've also taken the Christian God. because the Christian God is very generous. If you give, he does what? He gives. Well, so why would I not have him also in my mega shrine? So I'm thinking, hey, we are so blessed. We have a God who is so generous and who wants us to even have more. Yeah, but I also want to answer the question that you had asked Felicia, because we did it also. I also did the same. That was, I think, our latest. And the one that we are already, in asking about what we want to do, we have already spoken with the owner, is in Chumbi. Chumbi is a place between Machakos, that junction, where they are going to do the double what? The dual carriageway. And for those who come from Machakos, it has already reached where? It has already reached Daystar. So basically it's going to happen. It's going to be a highway like Thika Road. You know the way Thika used to be sound very far. And now it is reachable. The same thing. And I'm thinking that's a place I can tell you, for those who want to invest, there's some light. And it's about, it's at the moment, it's a bit more expensive. If we had gone last year, it was about 800, but now they're selling 1.2. But again, with negotiation, you can still get it at a price that is okay, I would say. But if you go also inland, for the same half an acre or a plot of 50 by 50 on the road, it's almost the same amount. You can get some for 600, 500, and they do it also in installments. So again, for me, the way I see it is you don't have to bite what you can't chew. Yeah. So just look at what you can. And none of us here can say we are not talented. Because God gave 3 talents. There are those who have, is it 5? 5. The one who had 3 and the one who has 1. So the question is, what are you doing with your seed? The danger with us is we eat the seed plus the soil. Seriously, then what's going to happen? So I think whenever you have money, and like I said before even you buy a phone, don't buy it from your seed. Plant that seed somewhere and then buy. That's, for me, it has been my principle. Even shoes. I like nice shoes. And just for the record, I work with, for me, my spiritual gift is compassion and mercy. So I founded with 6 others, Real Stars. It's an organization that supports children to go to school, because I remembered what happened to me. If somebody had not paid for me today, I wouldn't be here. So I founded this, and we have taken kids through schools, at least now more than 500. At the moment, currently, we have 196 kids in primary, secondary, and university, and some even in tertiary.
That's a place to clap.
Oh, yes. So we thank God. That was my motivation. My motivation to build wealth was, I don't want one day to buy a new nice leather shoes and somebody says, umetumia pesa ya watoto. Or you use the monies from the organization. I always wanted to be the kind of person who will be the one to give the organization. And so that's how I decided, let me work with how can I have support me myself. Because again, missionaries, and then for those who know, I've been supporting navigators for the last 15 years, and I've realized it's hard if you're a missionary. People support you and they get tired. There's donor fatigue. There's a place they reach, people don't want to support you anymore. And I knew I want to serve God my whole life. So I had to have a way that I knew I have to have passive income, whereby it's not so high labor intensive. Like if I was going to do agriculture like what my sister here does, and my friend, it would be a bit hard because you need to be there every day. I wanted just to be free, whereby I can really serve God without having to really negotiate my time here and there. Yes.
I don't know if Felicia is comfortable with this, but what, Rose, because you said, what is your net worth?
Okay, I have to put a disclaimer here.
Because I want people to see that 18-year-old girl who sold jackets, saved up. And I'm very happy that my daughter is here today because she's very entrepreneurial.
Oh, good.
She's 13, so I want her to hear.
Yes. Those are the ones I like working with.
Those ones. So you sold jackets, and then you got some money, went and bought a house for your mom.
Yes.
And then you got to go to Germany, and you are sending your money in. And so this has been a process. It's not been something slow. And you've denied yourself. Because at university with 15,000 bob a month, there are things we can do. Give me, I'll show you. What I can do with that money. But then I want people to see this is 20 years ago, who has Rose become from 38,000 shillings? How has God brought you this far with the same principles of just what is in my hand, what can I put in and get in return? Yeah.
Again, I can't say this without saying, God has been good to me, but at the same time, I took my seed and I planted somewhere. And the disclaimer I wanted to put was this, that I'm very, very rich in land. So my net worth will be land. Now, currently, what I'm doing also, Felicia thinks she's learning from me, but I've also learned about the bonds. So I'm also learning from her, because I also did exactly what she did with her chama. I'm learning to put also money which works for you. Because again, you can be so rich in land, but that can take a long time before you sell.
It's not liquid.
It's not liquid. And I think what we need more is to have both. Because again, the Bible is so clear that we need to diversify. We don't need just to be
cast your bread upon many waters.
To come back to you. So I think if I can just say some of the plots that I have, how much they are worth, to make you realize how much I have. Like Safari Park, it's about 13 million. The one I have now in Kamulu is about 44 million. One just changed Jamhuri maybe to be about 60. But you see again, like I said before, it is just...
I know, right? Very.
Don't get stressed. It's all land. It's not...
I am thinking, what am I doing with my life?
And she's saying, it's just land. I'm thinking, if I had...
Again, I'll also say this. I've just remembered something very important. They are selling land in Chemelin, where the SGR is going to go. And right now, an acre is going for 265. So if anybody is interested, please see me.
265,000.
265,000.
And when SGR comes,
ikifika tu hivi imepanda. So again, you need to think that way. Like with chumbi, when we were buying there, we also think we are thinking in future what's going to happen. So for me, it's always focusing on my people perish because of lack of what?
Knowledge.
So again, I've realized there are people who are intelligent. Last time I came with Solomon here, and he knew all those things. He knows what is where. Yeah? Even the roads. I don't even know what's going to happen where. But again, it is good if you know these things. So
continue with the...
So let me continue with my network. I know that's what you want to hear. I can say this recently, but this one now, it has nothing to do with my investment. It was God. I said, why do we have to have wealth? So that we can do what? We can give. Because if your hand is like this, it's easy for God to put something. Is that true? But if your hand is like this, even if you have a lot, God will bring, yes, because He's generous, but itaanguka chini. So I must say this because what God has been doing for me in the last 4 years, it has been heavy to invest in churches. Okay, so I'll begin with one church that I actually donated the land in Kitengela. The second one was in Tala. I donated land also, and they built a church. Actually, that one we also built the church. When I say we, I involved my friends and whoever. And the third one was just a church that you all know, so I wouldn't say it. I just tiled the floor. And for me, I want to say that's where I reaped. That one I didn't do anything.
And I think for us, you also donated a container.
The container,
worth
yeah.
400,000, Bob. That was, amen.
Thank you. But for me, I want us to give God honor and glory because, again, God showed me, Rose, you cannot outgive me. Because what happened is, a friend of mine, I was her best mate in her wedding, and she and her husband, by the way, that I'm going to say this, they don't earn so much. Okay, she's a nurse and he's a doctor. And she came and told me, Rose, this time, whatever I'm going to give you, I don't want you to give it to the organization. Because another time, somebody gave me some inheritance, and I bought land for Real Stars, our organization, where we have built our office. And by the way, we entered officially our office on Friday.
Congratulations.
Yes, I bless the Lord. I really thank God.
And I think I've seen the office.
Yeah.
The office is on the ground floor, and then there are flats on top.
Yes.
So,
Still very entrepreneurial.
Yes. And it is in the name of Real Stars. The idea is that they will always have income. I want to make 10 of them. They will always have income. That's the idea. Why? Because, again, like I said before with the donor issue, people are not very excited all the time if you keep asking for money. But now at least I'll be able to pay my our social workers well. We have 3 of them, 2 accountants, and other people who are working with us. Now, to come back to your question, I think I've really gone around the world. This friend of mine, she told me, and her husband, whatever we're going to give you, we want to give it to you. I said, now, what would you like to give to me? I mean, she knows that I like investment and everything. No, we want to give you a house. And our money is 7 million. They actually gave the money to me. And right now, as I'm talking, my latest acquisition is in Kiserian. I just went there the other day with Felicia. It's 3 bedrooms, beautiful and near the road.
Wow.
You introduce us to this friend.
But I have a question to Rose. You know, listening to Rose, she said she's single. And you know, with the conversation you've just had with the men right now, that some guys are really intimidated by a woman with a lot of wealth. How do you handle that? How are you confident to keep investing?
Yeah, I'm confident to keep investing because it has nothing to do with the, for me, I would say, with, if somebody would love me, they love me for me. Like, they will need to love me also without this wealth. I mean, like you have said, you can be also unhealthy. That can also take in money.
Yes.
And then the money goes.
Yeah.
So for me, I think I like the guy Seth. Where was he? Somewhere around there.
Seth, you've become famous.
Seth, come to the front. Sit here in front.
I like the confidence that Seth had. Because it is true. If God has given you the power to make wealth, it doesn't mean you would not share with your husband. Automatically, if I'm married today, everything I have is my husband's, and it's mine. So I don't know where that myth comes that a woman atakukalia. I think those are myths or let me say
Insecurities.
Insecurity. And if your guy is insecure, you run the other direction. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
But is it true that some, you know, Bugo said women can have big heads when they have more money and
Well, I think that's again a very for me I would say you're already running ahead. Eh? Why would she have a big head? Do you know even you can have a very poor woman with a big head?
Very.
So it's thank you. So it's character. I mean, and again, there's a guy behind there who spoke about character.
Yes.
It's your character. Are you that Proverbs 31 woman? I mean, can I submit? Yes, I will really submit to my husband. You know? But for him, as long as he loves me, I will. So it has nothing to do with money. But I like my grandmother again. She said, Amtakula love. Honestly, many marriages go kaput because of what? Money.
Actually, that reminds me of, I think Wahoo mentioned that there are even ladies who are afraid of driving to church. I mean, you own a car, you're afraid of driving because you're single, and that will, you know, like shush men away from you. I think it's so sad.
you get comments like, you know, you girls who are high
Driving.
maintenance do what? So you're like, should we stop? Should
we
the
stop
ladies
dressing
dress
up?
down, you know, to look humble?
Yeah, that's sad. But Rose, to the married women, because I'm one of them, sometimes I think that I envy Wahoo, you know, because I think she has her money. At the end of the month, she can make her own decision without having to consult anyone. And sometimes you're so convinced this is it, but you're told you have to consult. You know, you can't just... And then on the other hand, I remember my auntie sitting me down and telling me, a wise woman always pinches something from her salary and hides it in the other pocket. Because you never know. There comes a time you will need it. And I've come across men, specifically last week, who said, I think that is very wise advice. Men who've told me, my mom did that and she really sorted us out when things were bad. You know, when dad had nothing and mom would just come and say, I have this. But I need the married women to find a balance, you know, because this also brings a lot of conflict. And I've come across many married women, me included, who feel, Yani, this thing is hot. And 2 years later, you are still discussing
Deciding.
this hot thing. By then it's cold. And you know, do we just go out there and come home and say, I made the decision, and then turn out to be unakalia? And what's the balance? I want a godly balance. For you, what has worked?
For me, my husband and I have a joint account. So all the money ends up there. But there's also an extra account, which we're both signatories to, that we have decided it's discretionary.
It's yours to do with as you please.
It's mine to do as I please. But I think it goes back to the principle, it all belongs to God in that sense. But so we give him the 10%, what do we do with the 90%? And so even if we have this joint account that we do everything, whatever I'm doing with the other amount, it's what somebody said, all the boats rise. Am I using it for the benefit of the family, or am I doing something else that is not so good for us? And I think when we talk about women and how we spend our money, there's a certain way for the prudent woman. Somebody talked of the Proverbs 31, thanks for reading that. Is how can you be prudent in the that yes, you're making all boats rise. Because the funny thing about money, it actually reflects your heart. Where is your heart? And when we begin to think, money mimics God very well. Somebody said that, I think it was in Dennis Tongoi's book, Mixing God with Money. It says money mimics God very much in the sense of money can almost buy you good health. You can go to the good hospitals.
It competes with God, actually.
Doesn't it? It answers some of those questions. So when you begin to focus on the money rather than the God who gives the money or who creates wealth, that's where the problem comes in. So it doesn't matter if it's a small account here or what it is. It all belongs to God. So I think it's what is the state of our heart. But this also comes from the experience of my background is I had a father who was well-to-do and a mother who, there were issues in the family. One of them, my father passes away, and how far down do you fall when the spouse is not there? So that goes back to, what do we have a retirement plan? Do we disclose to our spouse so that when you're not there tomorrow, you're not in such a bad state than when you were before? So yes, I applaud the men who lift up the women so that, yes, you're doing very well, but I know what you're doing. It's not one of those things that I'm hiding so that I can feel secure, because I think for me, it's about security. Am I feeling secure in that I have this secret account? If things go south, I have a backup plan, or is God my backup plan? So it is a balance. I can't say I have that question answered. I struggle with it because I'm the one who wants to rush and invest and do and do. And then my husband is the one who let us think about this a little bit. If we still think about it 3 months down the road, I get frustrated. I either throw this on and do something else that is more quick, fast, but that quick, fast, and in a hurry gets me into trouble also. So I appreciate the wisdom of slow down. Check the boxes. Is this have you done your due diligence? Have you ticked the boxes? And just appreciate that it's a partnership. And as somebody said very wisely, it's seasonal. I'm doing well this season. Next season, he's the one who's doing very well. But if we are putting it in a way that all boats are rising, yes, have that account, that discretionary account. I wouldn't ask you, na yo, because how much? Yeah, that's now petty.
Okay.
And I think it's something that you work with your spouse to learn to manage.
So I think what I'm hearing from you is, it's not really when we have money, what do we do with it? But it's on the ground. What agreement do we have as husband and wife? If you were to pass away, what would I do with the kids? If I was to pass away, what would the kids? And so when such conversations start coming, you even decide to buy land and write it in one person's name. In the event something, or both persons' names, you can agree to have the discretionary account. Say, I have my 10,000 every month. My husband has his 10,000 every month. So whatever I do with my 10, whether I'll join a chama and put it in there every month, whether he'll save up for something, then it gives you a sense of partnership, but there's also freedom to an extent.
One of the things that maybe it will help somebody here is we set up something called a trust. A trust that we put money in and say, in case none of us are here today, how can it help pay for the children's school fees? How can it help pay for medical, whatever? How can it also own property on our behalf that if we're not there today, it can continue doing this? Because one of the challenges, yes, we have wills, yes, we have courts, but sometimes they don't work as well for us as they should. So yes, have the will and do those things that will benefit the ones who come after you. But I think this trust, it's called Milele Trust. You can ask about it. It has helped us also think about beyond us, our grandchildren and our children, to begin to plan, automate some of these things. Yes, it's paying the house rent. Yes, it's paying these bills. Yes, it's paying those things. And at the same time, it's investing for you, and you plan, what kind of investment do I need? But I think the point is, think, plan. You must plan, you must be intentional. That 5 years, 10 years down the road, you're actually making strides towards what you want. It's not ad hoc.
Okay, correct. That's good. Lillian, do you have a question?
I think for me as a single lady today, listening to these ladies, I feel very liberated. I feel like it's okay for me to make decisions and invest in things like land. Because many ladies, I know this because they talk to me. A lot of them feel, I can't do this much. I'd rather spend than my money investing in my family in terms of maybe give to my brothers and sisters instead of making a real investment because I'm not married yet. Because you sort of feel like when you get married is when you get a permission to invest. So this conversation is very liberating to tell the ladies, we can go ahead and make those investments. It's okay.
True. Yeah, but my last parting shot question. I know Stephen is at the back saying time. Quickly, if you can just mention your biggest challenge as a woman investor, what has been one of your biggest challenges? And vice versa, what is one of your biggest lessons in investing as a woman? For both of you.
Wow. I think for me it was, first I had to learn the discipline of saving, one. But the other thing is not going it alone. That I think I learned how to, from my chama, I learned those lessons. And then going it alone and doing the due diligence. Because sometimes we don't know the ropes. I think men have been good in knowing the networks. So always
You just
consult.
buy a car, you don't know.
But there's so many details there. So doing your homework and consulting. Consulting the right people who have been doing this a long time and not just throw money to a project, but looking at it very well. But I think my biggest challenge is not thinking I have enough. So putting it together, saving, being mean to yourself, as it were, but with that goal of, when I get there, I will do this, that, and the other. And just, I think I overthink things sometimes and then not implement. So this year was a part of just do something, no matter how small. Start somewhere, because then you get encouraged. Then you take the next step and the next step. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I can echo what Felicia has said. And again, I want to bring the word in Ecclesiastes, verse 11, chapter 11, verse 2. It says, have many ventures. Yeah? And I think what you're skilled, again, God says, what is that you have in your hand? What I can do, you can't do. Like I remember when I was in Daystar University, I used to sell chapati and tea. When everybody at home, people are going home happily, me, every day I was going home with about 700 to 800 when I was doing my master's. And already I've paid my house help 200 bob. So she was very happy to bring the tea at 5:30 at Daystar. And the chapatis, half I would sell 10 and the tea was 15. And my life was good. My whole 1 year I was earning. What I'm trying to say is there are many, many ways of getting cash. Like the way, again, I'll say this from my grandmother again. She would say, put a kikuyu here. They'll sell for you fresh air. They'll pack it. Package it, So look at yourself. What can you do? Let's all be Kikuyus in our way. Somebody here is an interior designer. Make money out of it. If you're in the university, please sell, even if it means Safaricom cards. Don't ever use your pocket money to make your hair. Use the pocket money as a seed. Plant it somewhere where you can get that profit. So for me, I still believe there's so much we can do and there's so much out there. And then number 2, a project is never a project until you begin. Okay? So to come back to the woman of Proverbs 31, she considers a land and buys it with money she has made with her own with her own hands. And then she also sells purple linen. That woman, she understood Ecclesiastes 11 verse 2. Have 7 ventures. If not possible, have 8. Meaning, all of us, there's something we can do. Many of us want just to be employed. That is one seed. What about if you have another seed of M-Pesa? Or even boga. People think selling vegetables, there's no money. There is a lot of cash. Or even another passive one. Have very many mabati houses in a low-costing area. Even if it's Kawangware, Kibera. At the end of the month, you'll just be sitting and you hear M-Pesa, tak, ching. And then it's going to make you even want to hear that sound of nail. Ko, ko, ko. Again, like my mother used to like to say, Nyine wa muyone wa musuma uyamba ka. Ko, ko. And I used to think, my grandmother has many things, but she loved God. She would wake up at night and she would pray for every one of us. And she would say to Jesus, if Jesus turns this way, he finds me there. If he turns this way, he finds me where? There. So again, all of us, let's hold on to God like this, but at the same time, he has given us the possibility, the whatever in our hands, the wealth, let's look at it. Let us not be caught like the one guy who was asked by Jesus that question. And I think for me, that would be the most saddest part. Because he was asked, he was actually told, the least you would have done is do what? Take it to the bank for it to earn interest. Again, Jesus was interested with money. 2,000 more than 2,000 Bible verses talk about money more than they talk about love. So again, for me, I don't want to do the Kanyare thing, 310, but I think we should give. We should actually give in our tithes. If all of us gave, I'm sure we'd even build a church, the 10%. But again, like Pastor Oscar was saying, you become more generous when you begin giving 11%. So let's do it. I mean, and we can do it, but you need to begin now. So, because a project is never a project until you do what? You start. So may the Lord give you that strength. May you have that discipline, because again, if you don't tithe, life will be tight.
That's a tweetable right
You
there.
don't tithe, life will be tight.
Exactly. So for me, I would say that. And again, if you don't save, you're going to be a slave. So again, saving is also very important. So all these things, let them work for us. Let them just not be talks or things out there. Let them come closer to us, because we want to build our church. I mean, today I came and I found the church had cabro. I had already carried my rubber shoes just in case, for us ladies with cocoa, So again, I'm just saying, let's think, how can we beautify the church of God? What can we do? What can I do for the Sunday school? But we can't do without what? Cash. The Bible says, money answereth all things, health, whatever. Again, it's the same Bible which tells us, and I think for me, this is what I like most, how we can also build our wealth. Because it is God who gives us the power to build wealth. But we should not get greedy. We should not love money and not love God. The love of money is the problem. But money in itself is neutral. It's good. It can do you many things. I mean, it can buy for you. It can, for those guys, people like us who like extra earrings or nice things. Without money, you can't buy them. Then you start asking your husband and being, he never buys for me this. No, I think for me, again, to come back to that thought of if you're a woman who's single and rich, I think that's good, because you're meant to be a helper. How will you help your husband? Helping is always money. Or is there another help? Yeah, most of the help is cash. Yeah? If he wants a new car, you're helping him. I'm just saying. So anyway, may the Lord bless you, and I hope we have been able to bring you up a bit closer to where we are, what we have done. But remember, you need to do something. Go out there and do it. Even if it means selling beans. Because somebody was telling me in Kericho, you can actually hire a piece of land for 8,000 shillings. So why not hire it and then plant your maize? There's ways we can make our wealth, but we need to do something. Just like marriage is work, even making wealth is work. It won't happen automatically. That one I can tell you for sure. God bless you.
Wow. Let us appreciate these ladies. Hasn't that been amazing? Have you learned something? Yes. And, Grace has said something, Rose has said something very good. That if you don't tithe, life will be tight.
And if you don't save, you'll be a slave.
Bus. Yes, as they go down the stage, it is time to give. Yeah? You should be shouting, I'm giving you an opportunity to multiply your money. And in this case, you will multiply by first obeying what we've just learned right now. That we give back to God and He gives us back. Sawa sawa?